Guys, it was a good week. What's going on, everybody? Steven here, the Husky Runner, and welcome back to our marathon training series. Guys, week 5 is done, and I'm not gonna lie, this may just be the best week we've had yet when it comes to running. And I'm gonna say this is probably the best week I've ever had running. And not all of it was easy. It wasn't like I just coasted through everything, but just when I look back at what we did this week, it was good stuff. One of the reasons why I think this week just felt different, I've been sitting around trying to think like what happened this week that was different than any of the weeks ever that I've ran. And I'm not just talking about this marathon training series, but any of the times that I have ever ran. What was different about this week that just made the miles go by a little quicker, made my legs feel a little bit better? And I attributed it to one thing that I changed, and it was this: the New Balance SC Trainer V2s. These came in the mail a while ago, and I had held off in wearing them. I was still wearing my More V3s that weren't so much more anymore, and I just finally felt like it was time to make a switch. And we put these guys on Monday for our first run, and it was good. And while I've only had this shoe for 1 week, I already have 18 miles, which I don't think is enough for me to give you a review yet if you were wanting a review. But this week though, if all of the other weeks are gonna be like this week, it's a good one. Like I said, Monday's run was the first time in that shoe, and we did 5 miles, and it kind of just went by seamlessly. I wasn't wowed or anything with the new shoes. I just noticed that at the end of the run, my pace was a little bit quicker. The shoes felt comfortable, but again, I wasn't like absolutely amazed at them. Not like the first time I ever put the More series on. When I put my foot into that shoe, I was just like, this shoe is it's just marshmallows. It feels fantastic. The shoe felt good, but like I wasn't crazy about it. Not until Tuesday's run. And I don't know if I just needed that initial 5 miles to kind of break them in a little bit, but Tuesday's run, we did another 5 miles, and we did it faster than I've ever ran 5 miles in my life. We actually did it faster than I think I've ran most of my runs that I've ever ran. We ran those 5 miles with an average pace of 10 minutes and 36 seconds, which for me, for 5 miles, it's pretty quick. I normally don't move that quick on a 5-mile run, let alone even my 5K efforts. They're usually a little bit slower than that, but the shoe just, I don't know, it just felt really good on Tuesday, and I kind of didn't want to take a break running on Wednesday. I wanted to lace them back up and go back out on the road, but Wednesday's a day we do not run. Wednesday's a day for cross training. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get much of my strength training in that I wanted to, so it was kind of just like an overall rest day, which I was fine with. Moving into Thursday, I had a busy work day. I had to be at work way earlier than normal, and I ended up staying at work way later than normal. And so by the time I got home, guys, I'll be honest, this might have been the first time that I didn't want to run. The kids went to bed. It was around 9:30, and I just did not feel like running. Thankfully, I'm married to an amazing woman who, when I ask like, hey, I should run, I don't want to run, what should I do? Well, let's just say after her answer, I was lacing up my shoes and heading out the door. And originally I wanted to do another 5 miles. I would have loved to have done a 5-mile run every night this week, but there was just something different about this night. I noticed I took off a little bit quicker than I normally do. My first mile was under 10 minutes, which it made me kind of pause and question in my mind, like, what is going on? But I kept running. The second mile again was under 10 minutes, and I was like, I might just try to turn this into a PR for the 5K for me. And so we pushed it, and I will say by the end of it, I was I was out of breath. I was feeling it. I could really tell that I had done something hard, but man, those New Balance SC Trainer V2s they felt so good. My feet weren't laboring at all. That carbon plate in the shoe, I could feel it help propelling my foot forward and helping me get my toe off just a little bit quicker, a little bit snappier, and the cushioning of that fuel cell was just protecting my legs. The thing that was tired, it wasn't my legs, it was honestly my breathing. I need to figure out my breathing. I need to just get my cardio up in general, but my legs felt good, and we did it. We set a PR for the 5K, and not only that, we set a PR for the mile. We did the 5K with an average time of 9 minutes and 48 seconds per mile, which I know for me, speed is not a thing. Like, I'm not running this marathon with a time in mind. I'm just wanting to finish. But to see on Strava the 6 gold medals pop up after this run, it felt really good. And I was so happy that I got out there and I ran, even though I didn't want to run. It was honestly the last thing I wanted to do. My friends were playing video games. They were messaging me like, hey, Steven, get on. And I wanted to do that instead, but I knew that if I made excuse for one day, I would make an excuse for another day and another day and another day. And so I messaged them back. This was the first time they were hearing about me running a marathon, except for I think one of them follows the YouTube channel a little bit. And so he had known just from the videos. And I was like, guys, I'm running a marathon. I've got to train. I'm sorry, get this running. We got it done. And I am so thankful. And I'm so happy that I chose to put the shoes on and go for a run, because man, a PR it feels good. It really feels good. So then Friday came around and I knew I needed to run 5 miles to get to 18 miles for the week. So that way when my long run came up on Saturday morning, I only had to do 12 miles to get me to my ultimate goal of 30 miles for the entire week. And so that's what we did, 5 miles on Friday before my daughter's indoor game. And I laced up the New Balance Trainer V2s again, but this time I wanted to see if I could just take it easy in them. I've noticed that since I put them on Monday, every run's got progressively quicker and quicker and quicker, which is fine, but when I have to run, 12, 14 hours later, my long run in the morning, I'm gonna wanna have some energy in my legs. I'm not gonna wanna be worn out. And so I thought, let's try to take it easy in these shoes and just see how those feel, because eventually I will want to do an easy long run in those shoes as well and give my More V4s a little bit break on the long runs. And so we did a nice, easy 5 mile run. And I think for one of the first times, like I say, I actually did an easy 5 mile run. It just felt really good. I felt like I could go a little further, but again, I knew I wanted to save myself for the morning's long run. I could have gone a little bit quicker, I felt like, but I had to keep telling myself, you're gonna regret this in the morning when you have to run 12 miles. So just take it easy. And that's what we did. And we got the 5 miles done and we got to go to my daughter's indoor game. And then Saturday we got to wake up and do 12 miles. And I'm not gonna lie, Saturday's long run was not an easy run. If you look at the Strava stats, it looks like an easy run, lower heart rate, slower pace. But I could tell that I had pushed it this week, and my legs, they weren't sore, they were just tired. And the first 2 miles of this long run were they were difficult. They were a very difficult 2 miles. My legs were heavy. They didn't really want to move. But after that though, they kind of woke up a bit. We fell into a groove, fell into a rhythm. And I'll say miles 2 through 6, maybe even 2 through 7, just felt good. I found a good pace, I found a good rhythm, and we were able to hold that pretty consistently for all of those miles. And then around mile 7, I popped my gel. I wanted to take the gel earlier in the run. The goal was around 5 or 6 miles, but I was listening to a podcast. I was running a slightly newer route and kind of got distracted. And by the time I realized I hadn't taken my gel yet, it was mile 7. So we popped the gel and continued on with our run. And then shortly after that, I noticed though that my hips started to feel a little tight, started to feel a little sore. Nothing like a pain, a sharp pain or anything, but I could just tell I need to work on my hip strength and hip mobility, because at this point in the run, they were starting to just get sore, get tired. and I knew I had a couple miles left. We pushed through it. It wasn't anything that I thought was going to be like dangerous for me to push through. There was no pain ever like that. I'm not dumb. I'd like to think that if something ever happened, I would know to just walk. But we finished the 12 miles, and it was the longest run so far of this marathon training, and it's the first run. I think I can say that I was like happy that it was over. I was tired. My hips were just tired. My back was tired. Everything was tired. And when I hit the stop on my watch and I started to walk, have you guys ever been on a boat before where you've been out all day and then you go home and you still feel the waves like on your bed? Like as you lay there, it's just still, you're just rocking. That's kind of how I felt when I stopped my watch. It felt like my arms were still moving. It felt like my legs were moving quicker. Like it felt like I was running, even though I was like on my phone updating Strava real quick as it posted. It was just a very weird feeling. And I don't know if that's a normal feeling, but I was just tired, and I was happy that the 12 miles was over. I'm not gonna lie. I'm happy that that run was done. Like I said, this has probably been the best week in a long time, if not ever, when it comes to running. And that's not because it was easy and we kind of just floated through it. It was because we actually worked and we ran hard and we set PRs, and I ran further this week in a week than I have ever ran before. And I feel like I really accomplished something this week, and I'm just excited to build off of this week going forward. I will say next week I will be in Pittsburgh over the weekend, and so I'm gonna have to, try to tie in a long run with travel, and this video as well. It might be more vlog style as we run than a recap video like this, but we'll get something out, and I'm always just open to experimenting with this video and making it different anyways. And then in a couple weeks after that, I'll be in Philly with the same thing. We're trying to tie in a long run and travel and how all of that's gonna work out, but we will get it done. We will get the runs in and the videos out. And guys, I just wanna thank you so much for all the support you guys have been giving me here on YouTube and on Instagram. I love reading your comments. It really helps me get out the door and get those miles in. I love that not only does my family support me, I get a lot of support from my wife and my kids, but when I turn on my phone and I go to Instagram or YouTube or wherever that I see your support as well. Guys, it does. I know it sounds cliche to say it means a lot, but it really means a lot. I hope you guys are having a great week. I hope you guys are crushing your training runs as well. Guys, remember to hit that like button, leave a comment below, follow me over on Instagram, and guys, I will see you in week 6. Peace.